Your motivation isn't magic, it's chemistry. And once you understand that, a lot of things start to make sense. The sudden bursts of energy, the crash that follows, the way you can feel on fire one day and completely empty the next. Today, let's pull back the curtain. Let's look at what's actually happening inside your brain when you feel inspired, and what to do when that fire burns out faster than you expected. Because the truth is, your drive, your ambition, that feeling of I'm going to change everything starting now, it's not just willpower. It's a cascade of chemical reactions, a neurochemical cocktail that lights up certain parts of your brain and convinces you that anything is possible. But here's the catch. That same cocktail? It's not built for sustainability. Let's start with dopamine. It's the one you've probably heard about, the so-called pleasure chemical. But that's not quite right. Dopamine isn't about pleasure. It's about anticipation. It's what makes you crave, reach, chase. It fires when you're imagining the reward, not when you get it. Which means the high of motivation isn't about the goal itself. It's about the path leading up to it. Now add to that serotonin, the chemical that gives you a sense of stability, self-worth, and confidence. It's not flashy. It's not urgent, but it helps you feel grounded, like you belong, like your effort matters. And finally, there's norepinephrine. It's the one that keeps you alert, focused. The one that kicks in when you feel excitement or stress. It's your let's do this now fuel. Together, these chemicals create the feeling you call motivation. But here's where it gets tricky. Your brain wasn't designed to stay in that state forever. When you chase that high day after day, when you binge on inspiration videos, set huge goals, dive headfirst into a new routine, you're flooding your system. You're giving yourself a dopamine spike every time you plan a future you're not yet living. And spikes always have consequences, because every peak is followed by a crash. That's why you feel so good for 3 days, and then completely lose interest on the 4th. It's not that you're lazy. It's not that you lack discipline. It's that your brain is trying to protect you from burnout. It's tired of firing those circuits non-stop. Think of it like this. Imagine sugar. The first bite is thrilling. Your body lights up. But if you keep going, it's not long before the sweetness becomes sickening. Your brain adapts. You stop responding. And eventually, you feel worse than before. Motivation works the same way. It's a drug your brain produces on demand. And like any drug, the more you use it, the less effective it becomes. So what do? How do you stay driven without burning out? It starts by working with your brain, not against it. Instead of chasing massive dopamine spikes, you learn to generate small, steady pulses. That means setting tiny goals. Goals that are reachable today, not just imagined someday. You want little wins, because each one gives your brain a dose of dopamine that's enough to move you forward, but not so much that it fries your circuits. You also need to create space. When your brain is overstimulated by multitasking, constant notifications, always being on, it loses the ability to respond to reward. It gets numb. That's why downtime matters. Not as a break from productivity, but as a necessary part of the cycle. You have to give your mind time to reset, to clear, to return to baseline. That's not slacking off. That's maintenance. Routine helps here too. Boring as it sounds, the brain craves some predictability, a stable rhythm, something it can trust. And paradoxically, it's within that rhythm that creativity returns. When you stop trying to force motivation, when you stop demanding constant inspiration, you create the conditions for real, lasting drive. It's a balance, novelty and structure, excitement and rest, focus and flow. Think of it like waves. Motivation isn't meant to be constant. It comes and goes. It rises, peaks, recedes. And the goal isn't to ride the crest forever. It's to learn how to move with the rhythm, not drown in it. So if you're struggling, if you've lost your spark, if you can't seem to get started or keep going, maybe the problem isn't your mindset. Maybe it's your chemistry. Maybe your neurochemicals are just tired. And that's not failure. That's biology. You're not broken. You're not lazy. You're not weak. You're human. Understanding that doesn't mean giving up. It means giving yourself permission to approach your life with more compassion and more strategy. Because motivation isn't just a feeling to wait for. It's a system you can support. It's not about pushing harder. It's about creating the right conditions. Tiny rewards, mental stillness, rhythms you return to, a brain that can breathe. And that's the real shift. When you stop treating your energy like a problem to solve and start treating it like a system to care for. Because knowing how your brain works isn't an excuse. It's freedom. Freedom from guilt. Freedom from shame. Freedom from the voice that says you should be doing more even when you're running on fumes. And once you stop blaming yourself, You can begin building a kind of motivation that doesn't explode and collapse, but unfolds slowly, day by day, without drama, without noise. Just you, showing up, again and again. Until one day you look back and realize you didn't need a fire. You just needed a spark that didn't burn out.